Honest girls, how you doing? Let's do another pick a card, and today is going to be no communication. Right, okay, so that opened the door to many different things. That could be about a relationship, of course, but it could also be about business. You haven't heard from, an interview or something like this. Let's have a look. 2 pounds, let's go for it straight in, as we like to do. Yes. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so pile number 1, no communication. Okay, right, okay, 7 of wands, 2 of wands, 2 of cups. All right, cool. Very straight to the point here as well. Right, at the end of the day, what's happening is they've been going through a lot. Whatever the situation is, maybe within the company, they've been reshuffling a lot of things. There's been a lot of feisty communication, conversation, blah, blah, blah. It's been quite something. And if it was someone within a relationship, then they've been going through quite a bit of argument, some things going on around them, and it's not very comfortable, but they gotta, get over it eventually. Right, okay, so in the meantime, yeah, you may find yourself in a position where you're actually waiting. You've done everything you could do. It's out of your hands. You've done your homework in some way, so it's up to them to do something about it. It's true. And you're kind of in a position where you're waiting for the ship to come back to the harbor, as I like to say. And it's true. At the same time, that could also be that they are in the middle of two and they have to make a decision. Maybe there's down to 2 candidates and you're one of them. Or there is someone else and they have to make up their mind. In the meantime, what do we have? We have a reconciliation, an association, an offer that could be very balanced, because I give you my cup, you give me your cup, period. There's no fluffing around, there's no games, there's no trying to gets an advantage over you. No, it's none of this. So it's very straight to the point here, and I'm really pleased to see that, but I want more information, obviously. So they haven't communicated just yet. Yeah, they're putting maybe a contract together. They make up a plan for you guys to reconnect, and they obviously want to build something from scratch or restart something, and this time they will nurture this connection. They won't take you for granted. They won't take any kind of anything for granted altogether. So they want to plant a seed and also see it growing long term. So they're not fluffing around here at all. So that's what they're doing. Communication is coming. Here you have it, and this is really flowing, very excuse me, morning voice. It's very like a new cycle of communication, a new way to communicate, and actually maybe just learning how to communicate in a very organic, flowing, and gentle way. It could also be that you entering a new cycle, definitely, and it's not going to be like it used to be before, and that's fine. That's the beauty of it, and that's the way it should be. So you're entering a new chapter, which is wonderful, and the communication will be much more focused, ongoing. It won't be like, oh yeah, waiting for a few days and start over again. No, it will be just ongoing, which is great. Yes, maybe at some point they were a little bit of a ego-centered, maybe a bit superficial, maybe they were a social butterfly but not really anything underneath. They were not showing anything, but in the meantime they were actually thinking a lot, but they were keeping that facade of not showing anything. Fair enough, maybe a protection. They actually like your strengths, and that's what make the whole difference. Maybe they took a little moment to observe you, because also they know that you will say things the way they are, and that is something they need to be able to handle. So they love your strengths, but also they were like, okay, I better be prepared to that strength, because that is going to be in my face. But they love it. So here you have it. And yes, they see that they can count on you. You're very real, you're very truthful, committed, trustworthy. You don't do things halfway, and you want long term. So they knew that they couldn't just come back and give you half of an offer. They had to be, pretty much the deal. And also, when it comes to the heart, they very much know that you want long term. And it's not something like it's going to last for a couple of hours and then goodbye. No, ain't going to happen. So they very much know who you are, and boom, that's what I wanted. This is definitely wonderful. The communication will bring power, success, and abundance in all different ways. It could be in love, it could be in money, it could be in absolute success in any co-creation you want to have, and also children, of course. So it's absolutely stunning. No communication because it's getting ready, okay? That's why, but it's getting somewhere, definitely. So pile number two, no communication was happening. What? What was that, Axelle? Six of Cups, King of Sword, Two of Pentacles. Right, okay, so that's very straight here as well. The thing is, we have a nostalgia of pure love. We have a nostalgia altogether. They really feel like there was some potential there, and they're still thinking about it, even though they haven't communicated for a while. Maybe they haven't forgotten you whatsoever. The way they behave, and it doesn't matter, male, female, King of Swords is someone who has an enormous amount of feeling, butterfly, you see, but at the same time a sword where they protect their heart. They may keep you at a distance just to make sure that you don't get too close, because they could actually melt totally in case you come too close, and they can't deal with that. So for now, but they've been juggling as well a lot of things. So maybe they were juggling with someone else, maybe they were very busy at work trying to do stuff, and at the end of the day their mind was not really there. And also they may have used that time as an excuse not to make a decision. However, Two Pentacles represent number 8, and that's the infinity number in tarot. So let's see what's going on. What's going on? Yeah, they use that time to actually think, rethink, and maybe do some kind of shadow work, introspection. Just really take the time to think and think again. And maybe they found out some truth that was maybe uncomfortable for them, maybe some truth that they would have preferred to avoid, but actually is in some ways it's better that they found that now, and so they can sort it out. But that was maybe a bit of a shock, either it was about themselves or about someone else they were very close to. So that might have been like, ooh, yeah, someone was actually running away from on emotions. So maybe they used that time of no communication to analyze what they were truly feeling and appreciate what they were feeling, and not running away from it. Or they found out that someone was actually betraying them, and so that must have been quite something, and maybe that's why they were busy dealing with. In the meantime, what's going to happen is Six of Wands, they're moving towards you, they're choosing you, and if they have to leave a bunch of people or that other person, so be it. They choose you and they feel very comfortable with that decision. That's exactly what they want to do, and it's true love. Yes, there is definitely a codependency or a very toxic attachment around them. They had to open their eyes to it. Maybe they were codependent to work and they were doing that instead of opening their heart. Maybe they were under the influence of someone that was really toxic, and could have been a friend, a family member, whatever. And they realized suddenly, hold on a minute, this is not true love. This is actually, manipulation. What's going on here? So they had to wake up to the thought and take it on the chin. Boom. The world, yes, they're definitely entering a new cycle of life, because the chapter, that chapter is gone, and it needed to close, and so in order to actually move forward. So no communication was maybe a period of digesting what was happening, understanding what was happening, and as a result, changing a direction totally. So he needed to stop a chapter in order to open a new chapter, and cutting off somebody very much, or being cut off as well. So also they may have perceived you that you cut them off at some point, because you know what, you don't know where you're standing. Well, I have time for this, so goodbye. So they had to digest that and maybe go back to themselves. But they may have had to cut off somebody because they realize the codependency and manipulation. Definitely they remember you, there's no doubt. I mean, we have the nostalgia, of course. Because the Queen of Wands is unforgettable. Super sexy, super luminous, super humble as well. Not humble. And so once you meet that person, male, female, doesn't matter, you don't forget that person. That is all around your head. So they're moving towards you with a lot of humility. They're not going to be no. So male, female, doesn't matter. Knight of Cups is someone who's going to open at the level of the heart. So the no communication was a very good way to actually step down, step back, have a moment, realize what was happening, and then make the right decision. And that decision is to move towards you. Fair enough. On this note, have a beautiful day, and I see you tomorrow. Ciao.